Hello everybody, Emily here. I figured I'd let you guys hang out with me for a few minutes while I get my meatloaf ready. Of course, like I said 100 times before, I don't edit, so this won't be all like sped up, put together, nice with music or anything, or like a nice quick shot of the final piece. I mean, honestly, it's just gonna look like meatloaf. It's gonna be in my meatloaf pan. Has this so you can take out. These are so handy. It's meatloaf pan, but it has this hole-filled tray where the grease drains off, and plus you can lift it up out of the pan. And, kind of dump it on your plate and cut it up instead of trying to get it out of the loaf. Yeah. So we're going to toss it together because it is time for dinner and I need to get it going. And yeah, you'll just have to imagine a meatloaf, which isn't hard to do. So at the end, this is going to be a great looking meatloaf with a nice ketchup glaze on top. Of course, I'll show you once, I'll put it in the pan and show it to you. And then you'll just have to use your imagination on what it would look like cooked, which wouldn't be hard to do. So let's make a meatloaf. All right. I don't have, the dog wants out, so I don't have a recipe. I literally just wing it. I don't have a recipe. My mother-in-law showed me how to make meatloaf, and I've kind of stuck to her recipe and kind of just winged it. And yeah, so I don't have like put so much of this or so much of that or da 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 da. Like we're gonna put it together. And can you guys see all that okay? Yeah, I hope so. Okay, I think that's good. I think that's right. All right, close enough. If you're looking for perfect videos, you're definitely in the wrong place. You might want to just move on. Save you and I both the agony and trouble, and just go ahead and find something else to watch. There's like 5 billion people on here, so that was my oven beeping saying it is preheated. So the oven is preheat and ready to go. All right, I just like taking the beef. This is just ground beef, nothing spectacular. And we're just going to break it up into smaller bits before we start adding our stuff to it. It's just easier to incorporate everything if you break it up first. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to break it up. Plus, I just did set this out to thaw yesterday. So like it's not frozen solid as a rock. As you can see, it's breaking up easily, but it is still really, it's a little frosty cold in the middle. So it won't hurt to break it up a bit anyway, just so we don't have any like, whoops, cooking is messy. So we don't have any thick frozen pieces. I don't want to chunk it in here and then try to smash and mix, frozen bits. So even if it wasn't still a little frosty in the middle, I would break it up by hand. It's easier, and the better you can evenly mix and distribute and incorporate your ingredients, then the closer you'll get to every bite being the same, instead of like having a big section of it full of breadcrumbs or a sauce or this or that, and then other sections just being like not. There we go. Now that we've got our ground meat fairly done, you don't have to be quiet. My friends are just, my son's coming to get a drink and he's like tiptoeing. You can even come say hi if you want. They're just my friends. My friends are watching me put a meatloaf together. My youngest one, Scotty. He's so cute. Alright, I'm going to throw this away and rinse my hands off, and then we'll be back to toss in all the good parts. Oh. Onion out. We don't use like a crap ton of onion, and I don't put a lot of onion in. I like onion in food, but not like a ton. Like I know some people, they'll cut the whole onion and chuck it in, but we don't use a lot of onion. So I have my little storage bucket here. It's kind of dedicated to my onions. It's my onion bucket. So I am just going to cut a fairly generous slice of onion off of here, and then just put that back in there, and we can then use that on down for more recipes or slices for burgers. Yeah, so onion, and I'll just cut this up. Oh, I hope you guys are having a good day, evening, night, crack of dawn, whenever it is that you happen to be watching this. I hope that your day or morning or whatever is going good. I hope you're healthy, happy, mostly stress-free. I think 90% of the world these days is pretty well stressed out to the max. But I hope for you that you are not stressed out to the max. And I am no chef by no means. I literally have like not even a handful. I've got like less than a handful of things that I cook by hand. Most of my dinners and food come out of the box. That's why I don't really, or it's quick fix food like tacos or something. I'm no chef at all, for sure. I'm like the opposite of the chef. Like, has anybody seen that new show that's out, and it's like Worst Cooks of America or something like that? It's called America's Worst Cooks. Like, that's me. Let's break this up a little. That's me. I would be on the show of the worst cooks, like the people that are on there and they don't know how to use the gadgets, and they're putting flavors together that got no business being together. I don't even know if I'm going to use all of this onion. This is a lot of onion. I like onion in my meatloaf, but I don't know. I'm trying to dice it up. I don't know if I'm going to use all this in here. It seems like a lot. It looks like a lot. So I don't measure anything. I just kind of eyeball everything. And this looks like, I mean, it's only a pound of meat. What do you guys think? That's a pretty fair amount of onion for a pound of meat. So yeah, we're just gonna return the dicings of what's left of this. And you think, why in the world, and what are you gonna do with that? Well, I have found that onion keeps like an immortal vampire and stinks like one too, if I had to imagine. And those diced pieces can go into more that we dice up for our tacos. So there you go. There's your answer. Alright, so we have put in a sufficient amount of onion for me. Roughly this much. Alright, next I'm going to put in my eggs. I don't have any special order either. We just kind of chuck them in here. Just chuck them in. Chuck it all in, because, I mean, it's all just going to get stirred up anyway, so what's it matter? Alright, so we've got beef, onion, and a couple eggs. You can come in here. My friends don't bite. That's my other son. He's put folding some laundry, some dish towels in there. Alright, now that my hands have been exposed to the nastiness of egg and onion, I'm going to wash my hands off again, and then we'll do all the sauce and breadcrumbs. Okay. Yeah, we like keeping our hands clean. We don't want to cross-contaminate anything. I'm not like super germaphobe, clean freak or anything, but to me, especially when you're cooking, you don't want to try to cross-contaminate things. You know, you don't want to make anybody sick. Alright, so we've got beef, onion, egg. Now let's do sauces. So, let's see. I'm going to put some Worcestershire in first, just because it is potent. It is a potent ingredient. It has a strong flavor. So, let's put that in first so we can see how much is actually going into the meat. So we don't put too much, or we'll be like choking everybody out with it. We want it to flavor the meat, not overpower the meat. We don't want it to be too strong. So we'll just put a dash or so in here, just until it looks like it'll be enough flavor. There you go. If I had to roughly guess how much that was, I would say probably good 2 tablespoons, you know, roughly. So, onion to taste, pound of meat, couple eggs, roughly 2 tablespoons of this Worcestershire. I'm going to try to say it right. Worcestershire sauce. Alright, and then I like putting A1 steak sauce in mine too. So we'll do that next. A little more of that, but I would say that's just like a good healthy tablespoon or so. See, I have, I try to put I do the onion first so I can see how much, and then I put all like the liquidy stuff in next, because then that tells me how much breadcrumbs I need to put in. And this is almost gone, so I've got another one here. Oh, I hate when it's upside down and it all tries to come out on you there. Yes, my ketchup is making the noise. I think what's in this bottle will be sufficient for my recipe here. But I'll still need this other one because I mix all this, put it in the pan, and then I put a layer of ketchup on top to make like glaze. I don't know, I might need more than that even for the inside. Ketchup! Yeah. enough? It's almost enough, but not quite to my liking. We just need, there we go. Spread some more. We'll set this right here because we will definitely need that again. And now, and then with this, I'm having meatloaf, mashed potatoes that I actually make by hand. So that's something else that I can do, by hand is mashed potatoes. So I make my own mashed potatoes. So we're having meatloaf, mashed potatoes and gravy, just the brown gravy mix. I don't make my own gravy, so I'm making the meatloaf and I'm making the mashed potatoes, and I just got some brown gravy mix, and then some corn, and then we have just Hawaiian bun. So meatloaf, mashed potatoes and gravy, corn, and Hawaiian rolls. That is what is for dinner tonight. Alright, let's see. There we go. That finishes my can off. There you go. I have to add that to my grocery list of things I am out of. Alright, so this stuff is going to wait because I've got to cook this meatloaf for a while before I make any of the other stuff. Alright, now we're just going to get a spoon in here, pop our eggs, pop our egg yolks, and get all this ready. It's a rough, it looks like just a mixed up rough mess right now. But we're going to get it all mixed in there, I promise. All the meat and the liquids and the goos and sauces and onions and meats, it's all going to get mixed in here. Just takes a little flipping and flopping and stirring, chopping. It all make its way around. And one thing that helped with that was breaking up the meat beforehand. Like, I am no chef. Like I said, I literally probably can't even home make like 5 things at the most. But I have learned making meatloaf that if you break up the meat before you start adding your ingredients, it definitely helps get the ingredients to go around easier. Like if you just chuck the meat in there in a big block and then add stuff, I mean, it'll work all the same. That's how I used to do it. And then one day I got the meat out of the fridge and it was still a little frosty in the middle like it was today. And I thought I should break this up, so it's not this frozen piece in here. And it was ever since then that I've learned and figured out that if you break the meat up, frozen or not, even if it's totally thawed, if you break the meat up first, it definitely helps with incorporating your ingredients. So yeah, what few things I've learned to cook, either someone has showed me or I've figured it out through trial and error. But like I said, I don't do a lot of cooking. Not by hand. I make us dinner every night. Don't get me wrong. On the weekends, my husband cooks. He's home on weekends and he does our weekend cooking. But during the week, I do the cooking. And yeah, what few things I've learned is trial and error. So there's our meatloaf. As you can see, the glass dish, like everything's pretty well separated here. Alright, so next we're going to just use some spray. This is just some Pam olive oil spray. Want to coat our pan really good. We do not want our meatloaf to stick. Okay, so we spray our pan, get our bowl. This is a heavy bowl. The bowl itself is heavy. And then when you've got a a pound of meatloaf in here. It most certainly is hard to hang on to. It is heavy. So just scoop this in here. All goes in. I just like to scoop it out to the end of it here. Last bit. Dun, 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 dun. Alrighty. Now just smush this pizza in our pan, but it's all wonky, so we're gonna smush it around in here. Make it a loaf. We want meat loaf, not a meat chunk. We don't want an oddball meat chunk. We want a nice meat loaf. We want it to be like a meaty loaf of bread. Weird. Alright, so smooth out these sides down so it's not meat sticking up everywhere. And just get it all kind of packed down and smooth. So there you go. See? Now it looks like a nice meat loaf in our loaf pan. And last but definitely not least, I'm telling you, this is what makes it. Put you a big old healthy amount of ketchup on top. And then you can just take your spoon again and just spread that all around the top. That's going to be like our crusty glaze. So we're going to spread this around on the top, and that's going to make a nice, just kind of crust, you know, just a crust, nice glazed crust on top of our loaf. Okay, and that, ladies and gentlemen, see, is my meatloaf. So we have a nice loaf of flavors in here and our nice ketchup on top to make our meatloaf glaze. And I am going to throw this in the oven on 375 for an hour. And while this is cooking, I will make my mashed potatoes, gravy, and corn. And it's going to be a good dinner tonight. Something that didn't all come out of the box. My husband's going to be thrilled. Thanks for cooking meatloaf with me, or at least making. Thank you for hanging out and making meatloaf with me. I promise it's going to turn out good. It always does. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.